let's start. 6 o'clock to start. No. Okay, Diane.
Okay, roll call. Aaron?
Yes, here.
Stuart?
Yeah.
Sam?
Here.
Desmond? Here. And Miguel?
Present.
Okay, everybody's here.
Okay. So, are we ready? Welcome, everybody. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America,
To the
republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any more agendas? Yes.
Yeah.
Got it?
Nope, you're pulling that.
What you said, info.
Go ahead, Sam.
So we're going to start with the announcements. We're going to be thanking everybody that volunteered their time for all the cleanup and the maintenance on, first of all, the entrance of Fleischmann's on the east side. We, the volunteers cleaned up all the weed, they trimmed down the trees. So now you can see a little bit better design coming into Fleischmann's. At the same time, they power wash the DPW, which is right behind the fire pole. Everything was power washed and everything was, all the weed was cleaned up around the building, the foundation. And we did some weed whacking as well. So I want to thank all the Piciallos and I want to thank all the Gutierrez for doing this job voluntarily. And thank you. And thank you to the troopers for being here today. Thank you. That's that. The other announcement is we were able to oil and stone 3 roads. And in addition to it, we did the side of the fire department on both sides and the back of the fire department. We did Brush Ridge. We did Lake Street, we did Breezy Hill. So that was a thing that, as many of you know, had to be done because otherwise the roads were not going to last as long as we want them to last. So we had to do that. The other thing that I want to mention to everybody within the community is, as we all know, we want Fleischmann's to be a peaceful, we want to bring peace, we want to bring gathering together. We don't want to separate. And I'm begging everybody, help, let's work together. Let's try to communicate when there's problems. When you see something, say something. Let's try to be in peace because this is a small community. And right now the summer is ending. So it's going to be very quiet again. After Labor Day weekend, everything goes down, as a lot of us know, especially me. So I want to thank everybody for their efforts, their contribution to make everything more peaceful, safe. So I want to thank you for that, to all of you. One more thing that I like to ask everybody for, we're normally ask people to walk on the sidewalks, but we also need to start for those that have, for all the homeowners in Fleischmann's, please keep your sidewalks clean and clear. Trim your bushes, your trees, your branches, keep them off the sidewalk. And we want them to be able and access to anybody walking. So we want everybody to please make sure that your sidewalk is clean and clear so that people can enjoy walking on the sidewalk. And now we're gonna approve the minutes from last month, Diane. So we're gonna go with the motion to approve last month's meetings. Seconded by Stewart. All in favor? Aye. Okay, so we have Alan, Jasmine. So. it's not- The other thing, I met with Peg Ellsworth a couple of weeks ago, and we were talking about the New York grant that we applied for and unfortunately were denied. She recommended that instead of reapplying again for it, which is, the deadline is next month, September 27th. She says, you know what, instead of doing that, why don't you guys do a real nice study, a real nice proposal, make it very professional, and then we will apply on the next round. Then, therefore, you guys can have a better chance to be approved. Right now, we have $3,700 credit with the MARC project. They offer to refund the money, or we use it as credit towards the new application, which I think we are gonna go with that. We're gonna have the money there since we already pay it, and we're gonna utilize it for the next round. Unfortunately, Peg wasn't able to make it today, but she was gonna be here today to explain and answer any questions within regards of that particular grant. So that was under all businesses. New businesses is the guardrails. As many of you know, once again, we're going back and back. The guardrails in Switzerland Avenue, they're being forgotten for many years. So it is time for us to start searching for money, searching for ways to address those issues. You know, that's a safety issue. Anybody, you know, we don't, God forbid, we don't want anybody running off that road. So same thing as Lake Street. We have some areas in Lake Street as well that are very dangerous. So I met with Mr. Bill Bellen with a company out of Albany, and they specialize on making this happen, getting you the guardrails, installing, and hopefully he will be giving me a quote, not this week, but the following week. And we're gonna take it from there and see what it is. We're gonna, once we get the numbers and we're ready to go with the company, we're gonna have to vet it out. So there's 3 or 4 more companies out there that can do the job. But this is not gonna happen, being realistic, until next year, because in either way, it's a lot of money that we're talking. And we just spent over $20,000 on the oil and stone road, so we're gonna start saving money and put it aside for this next project, which is next year. And let's see, on Little Red Hill, because we don't have enough room on the side to put guardrails, what we're gonna have to do right now is put reflectors. We're gonna put poles with reflectors on so people can actually see something, instead of, right now, there's nothing. So we're gonna be looking into that, and that's something we certainly can do within the next couple of months. And that was it. So now we're going to public comments.
I'm going to approve the reports.
We're gonna approve, I'm sorry, yes. So, in motion to approve the,
You know, we have everyone except for the financial report.
yeah,
Which that has to wait until Carol's,
come back.
she's working on, it, yeah.
Mhm. So we're gonna approve it.
I make a motion to approve the first three reports,
Sewer, water.
as well as wastewater treatment plant, monthly water inspection report, and the code enforcement.
Okay, second.
Didn't Carl say he's gonna do that next month?
He did.
He gave you one?
Something. That's something.
He said it was incomplete.
Maybe that's my fault.
No, it's not, you weren't there, it's okay. Just,
So I think that's it. Okay. So we got that done. Now we're moving into. Yeah. So we're moving into public comments. All right, so we're gonna go into public comments. And let's see, who wants to go first? Fred.
The, last meeting I spoke to you about oil and stony Main Street. I was on this board cumulatively for like 24 years. I was the mayor for the last two. I was highway superintendent for at least 10 of those years. I know the roads, I know what the paving schedules were, what the oil and stone schedules were. This road is 7 years old, falling apart, and the village goes and paves Lake Street, Reefy Hill, and Brushwood. Those are new roads.
Is it
I
7 years
understand
old?
that.
7 years old,
Yes,
Main Street?
I don't understand. I mentioned it to you at the last.
Mm-hmm. So Fred, last time that I didn't get a chance to look into when was the last time. And when I met with John Byron, he recommended strongly to go with those roads because they were just finished. And we put into, just so you know, we put into Main Street a quote for Main Street. And I'm still waiting for that from John, but that's the next on the schedule, just so
It's a
you
little
know.
late now because, they have their whole schedule worked out.
Yeah, but, so that's just, so you know, it's on the works.
It's up to replace.
Gloria,
I noticed that you're not gonna be sending the agenda in email anymore.
right.
What's the reason for that?
The reason for that, Gloria, we don't have a lot of time to spend on sending these emails. Diane is very busy. Carol is not here right now. She's gonna be out for a month. So, she's gonna be posting this agenda. She's gonna put one here. When she goes pick up the mail at the post office, she's gonna put the other one there.
Don't you
That's the
already
reason.
Don't you already have all the recipients in your computer and then you have the agenda also in your computer?
Yeah,
Can't you just send it out?
no, this is gonna be done, like I just said.
I'd like to second
Anybody
that.
else?
That's crazy and ridiculous. There's no reason why we can't send out an email in 2023. We've all been getting it this
I
whole
know,
time,
I know,
so.
but just so you know, we're not doing anything. Basically, what we're doing is this is what the open meetings calls for within the New York State. So we're following guidelines. We're not making changes just because we want to make changes. This is a guideline that New York State says, put it on, and we put it on.
Okay,
How much in advance is it going to be posted?
72 hours prior to the meeting. By Friday. Yes.
So two things, last meeting you said the village was broke. So I'm hoping that now, I know you just took over, but I'm hoping everybody is appointed to writing grants from the state for
Mhm.
all of the stuff that's happening.
Yeah.
That needs to happen. Does everyone know which grants there?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
No, like you
But
just
I
said.
mean, I think it works that way, that you write a grant for the highway from the state or the county.
Yeah,
and you get the
absolutely.
money and then you
Yeah.
spend the money.
That's right.
The other thing is you said, if you see something, say something. So I am still being harassed when I ride my bicycle. I want to be safe, okay? I may be the only one who rides their bike around here.
Mhm.
But I do not want people zooming up in their cars when I'm trying to make a turn to stop me. So I'm telling you now,
Well, why don't you, when that happens,
I have to call the police.
if you feel harassed, why don't you just take a picture, right place, call the cops? You know, that's as simple as
From
that.
now on, Mr. Mendelovic,
Because
that's what
if
I'm
that's
gonna
what
do.
you're gonna
Start
do,
with the full
Sound the fault
foundation.
it never happened, it never.
And that's why
I
we have the
started
cops
having
here.
cameras. I'm ready to show you my camera, that never happened.
You don't live in the
My
city.
car has
You don't
no
live in the
name.
city.
And that's why-
Then I
False.
have to live with
Conversation.
And that's- yeah.
We can have a calm conversation.
Yes.
Be respectful. One
Try to run me
One
over.
talks
Try to
and then
get
the
out.
other talks.
Full.
Okay, that's why it's only
False.
make a statement.
I
Okay,
mean,
anybody
what
else?
do we do about this? We've lived here for years.
No,
You don't live in
this is one question.
You're in your living room.
Go ahead, Todd.
Thank you, Tim. So, just wanted to make a comment regarding the bridge on Fletcher's Heights Road.
Yeah.
Some of you may know, the executive director for the corporation that owns the railroad property. That bridge, which is actually situated within the village's right of way by use across railroad property, has been deteriorating for many years. We're working with the board and with Mayor Winifred to try to come up with a solution, because it is on our property, where it's crossed, but it's a village road and not a piece of railroad infrastructure. So, you know, I just want to extend to you and the new board our willingness to cooperate and be a good neighbor with that project. But I know that there's some great concern. I think Lee Belander from Spilling has notified the village in writing about her.
She sent a letter today, yes.
Yeah, so, you know, I think we really need to put our heads together about a solution over there. And like I said, you know, there's very limited space. The railroad has property there. We could work with you to stage, do whatever needs to happen to support the project. But that structure is deteriorating quickly. I've been approached by the DOT. I've been approached by Spillian. And I think that, you know, but our hands are sort of tied because it's a village road. It's not really something we have to.
So can you tell me who owns that bridge?
Well, it's a bridge that is on the railroad property, but it's within the right of way of the village. So the bridge exists to allow vehicular traffic to cross our property.
Well, Todd, one of the things that we certainly want to do is, Spillian is one of the, you know, it's on the historic records. And what we want to do is for everybody to be, you know, every property, everybody to be within whatever we can do to make it look better, to make it better. So, you know, let's talk and let's meet, not this week, but the following week. Let's make plans. We sit down, we talk, and we'll take it from there.
Yes, we need to look at that. And, you know, doing good work on.
Just so you know, Todd, Stuart and I, we looked at it, you know, probably about a year ago or so. And we looked at it and I said, we look at the one on the left going from Goldie White's to Spillian, the one on the left-hand side, you know, when they built that, it was built with, you know, craftsmanship, if you will. Then they built the next one to it, the one that is falling apart, and you can see, you know, it's a difference. But we saw that bridge, and you know, the question was who owns it and how do we go about to fix it? But now that you mentioned, you know, let's get together and let's see how can we accomplish this?
Well, like I said, you know, it's situated on the property that is the railroad's property, but as you know, many people know, the village has a right of way on many properties as the roads cross it. So
Right.
We don't have a funding source, we don't have access to the type of monies that the village would have access to, because the road is the village's road, it's not the railroad's road.
Okay.
So for purposes of rehabbing or replacing or whatever needs to happen, and I know Peg Ellsworth has initiated trying to get funding, but she was unsuccessful recently. It's going to require an engineer, it's going to require a skilled craftspeople to preserve the original historic bridge if that's in fact possible. But there's gonna be a lot of delicate work across the roadway, and
Okay.
we can, support it, be a good neighbor, but it's a road project. So-
Okay. Okay, thank you, Todd. Anybody else?
First question, Sam, Mayor, is you mentioned that you didn't get a grant that the Mark project
Right.
were
Mhm.
applying for. How much was that grant for?
Well, that grant was, it was for the three buildings.
How much money?
I don't know how much money was it, but I can tell you
Are
it
we
was,
talking
This should be
millions, or
requested.
something?
no, she didn't say a number, so I can't answer that.
Does Peg share the copy of the grant when she proposes it?
I can ask her. I haven't seen any written grants from her, no.
Is she the primary person that writes the grants?
She is with the Mark project. I don't know if she
Yeah,
does
know.
it personally or she has her team doing it.
For the village.
Yes.
That's pretty much the way it's done.
Yes.
So do you happen to know when the next round would go in?
At this point, I don't.
Okay.
And at this point, I
All
don't.
right, so I want to say before I make my next comment, that I'm a very experienced grant writer. I just brought in a total of $4 million from the city of New York for a park and garden in the city. And that was a long haul, so I know how involved these grants can be.
Mhm.
And why amateurs don't do it. And then there's many other grants, $1,000, $2,500, $5,000, sometimes often a matching grant.
Right.
But I think I could be of help to you in that regard to get a better handle on how grant funding is managed and how to go about with a calendar, so you know when you gotta have your ducks in a row, when you're making grants.
Okay.
So having said that, now I'll move to the project of the Fleischman 17 public spaces. You know me from the one public space that you were so kind to help me with, the kiosk entrance area.
Yes.
And we're now going into another phase of that, for which I will look for grant funding, so I want to discuss that with you. But in the meantime, there's just cosmetics to be dealt with, and one of the big cosmetics is mowing. Not so very expensive when
Right.
compared to these big infrastructure projects. But I think, I don't know when Corky, I've never met Corky, but every time I hear, Corky's your man, he's the guy that does it.
He's the
But I
man.
don't think Corky's schedule is very clear to anyone, and I've been asking, what about Bridge Street? Bridge Street is now you've got this beautiful bridge that you worked so hard for, and yet this vacant lot, I don't think it's been looked at since the bridge ribbon cutting. And now the events season is starting up, and there's an event September 3rd, the Out of the Attic event. I know they're planning some sort of Oktoberfest and garden harvest thing. And you want people, you want traffic on Bridge Street. So how do I connect with you to, I've put a lot of thinking into this, but how do I now how do we connect the dots of Courtney's schedule and who is responsible for? I mean, as volunteers, we went in and took a truckload of trash out of the woods. But I don't believe it's my responsibility to mow that space, I mean, that's a village thing. And then also the weeds that have grown along the sidewalk. And I believe that Ted's grant included a sidewalk thing, so for, repair, restoration, what have you. So of course that should go back in. I have to find out from Peg what's in that grant for one thing.
Okay.
But anyway, I'm giving you sort of,
You came with the whole report, Ann.
different things, but I hope I hope you can connect the dots.
Okay.
So how do we get a dialogue about how Corky figures out that schedule, and is anybody looking at Bridge Street?
Well, let me tell you, Ann, Corky's schedule and Sean, these are two guys that really been working really hard this past month. The problem is the equipment that we have is not the greatest equipment. The equipment that we have is not, it's old. So sometimes things break, and he puts them down for 2 days. That's what just happened. They have a schedule for this week to wigwag the sidewalks on Bridge Street.
Oh, good. Yay.
That's on this week. So just so you know. Okay, anybody else? All right, so, I'm sorry, Rob, I couldn't
Just
see.
to, hinging off her is the question of the the Grossman property that was there. I don't think the village owns that property. It
We
was-
do not.
So can't we just find them, the owners, to come in and clean it up based on the village ordinance? I mean, the grass is like 3 feet high. I mean, it's a mess. in
See,
there. So I mean, I'm just throwing that out as an idea.
Yeah.
But, just aware.
We will look into that, Rob.
And the tree across the street, we have a dead tree, it's a ornamental pear, right across the street here. Is somebody, who takes care of that? Who comes in and removes that?
Well,
Do we know? Is that a quirky issue or is that?
I think we have to hire somebody. That's a big tree. I don't think Corey can do it.
Okay,
Abraham,
The Grossman, that way, huh?
no, straight out, right out.
City.
right out
city,
front.
The city.
it's owned by the city.
It's an ornamental pear tree, it's
Yeah.
a city tree.
Yeah.
It's a village tree.
So that's just a quick note to everybody. We're gonna be looking in the future to replace all the trees that are planted right here on Main Street. The reason why is because when they were planted, they're pushing up the sidewalks and they're growing into the power lines. So those two are a no-no. So that's gonna be another project for the next, before my term is up.
Not to throw another project on the list, but what's going on with the building next door?
The next door, that's owned by the county. So we gotta contact the county and see what they're gonna do about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's. a
Yeah.
eyesore.
Oh, it's been like that for years.
Dangerous, I think,
So
at this
yes,
point.
believe me, every time I come here, it bothers me. Anybody else?
Yeah.
Gloria, the last one.
The county is trying to sell that property, so they had a bid on it for $7,000, and the person hadn't seen the property, but then they sold the property.
So
So they said they were going to put it out again in August on bid. And also, for the Shit Street was mentioned, Sam, there's been, somebody broke some glass there, and it's been there all week. And
I'm sorry, where, Gloria?
on the road, on Bridge Street. somebody
Bridge Street?
broke Glass, and there's pieces of glass.
Okay. Thank you, Gloria. I will let, Corky and Sean are supposed to go around every morning and, look at the roads. So I'll mention it to them. Thank you. Okay, anybody else? Abraham?
How about the village looking to buy that property next door for a parking lot?
Uh-huh.
There's no parking, lately the meetings are growing.
Yeah, we're gonna look into that. We haven't done anything, but I think last time when Winifred was looking into it, because it's gonna be village owned, to knock it down, removed it was gonna be roughly about $40,000-$50,000. Because it's village owned, it's municipality.
No parking and then could be in and out.
Yes,
On one side,
that would be
on the other
great.
side.
it will be amazing. Yeah, but we're gonna see, we're gonna look into that. Okay,
Can I get a load of gravel delivered to the kiosk? Can gravel be put on that turnaround at the kiosk? It's filled with potholes and, shipping water.
and let me take a look at that, please.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else? Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Now we're gonna-
Motion to adjourn the meeting. So we have to. Oh, next regular meeting.
Okay. First of all. You first.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. You need to-
We're gonna ask you. Close the meeting. Yeah, okay, motion to close the meeting.
Who's seconding?
No, you have to do the,
What are you doing?
motion to order the vouchers.
Okay, so Stuart,
Yes.
Stuart's motioning to audit the vouchers.
Okay, so we gotta pay bills, so motion to adjourn meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
And once again, I thank everybody, and I hope that everybody could be, enjoy this beautiful place in the summer. Lucas, thank you for coming.